Okay, welcome to Bitrix Live. I'm Damien Edwards, Commercial Manager of Bitrix24 Partners Interface, and with me I have our Support Manager, Andy Naylor.
Hi guys, so we're going to be here for the next hour, and we're here to take any questions that you've got on Bitrix24. So whether you use the cloud version of Bitrix, we can answer any questions, or if you use the on-premise version of Bitrix, we're going to show you any answers to any questions that you may have live on the screen. So please do put your questions in the box on YouTube, and we'll get to them as we go along. If you have any questions throughout the week that you may want answering on the next live session, then just send them to live@interface.com, and we can answer them at the start of the next session.
Yeah, our details are there on the screen. If you want to get in touch with us afterwards as well, we provide evaluation support, so we can provide a demo and answer your questions about your requirements and which edition is right for you. We have a full implementation service including customization and training, and we provide telephone support as well for, as Andy says, both cloud and for self-hosted solutions. So I think we had a question in about lists.
Yep. So jump into Bitrix, and as I said, we've got the cloud version here, and we've also got the on-premise version. So any questions on either, we can answer. So one of the questions that came through was just with regards to the lists module in Bitrix. Now you can see it here on the left-hand side. We have the lists module, and it not only exists as a standalone component, it also exists in each individual work group. So really the purpose of a list is so you can submit data and it will then be recorded into a table view of a list. So if you just go into one, for example, that may have some data in, you can see here these are the submissions, and based on the submissions we can perform processes, we can trigger processes on, and we're going to set one up now, and we will. Have you got any ideas what we can set one up on?
Maybe if you were submitting a request for a business trip, and then somebody can approve maybe the amount or dates or something like that.
So we'll call the list business trip. We can give it a little icon if we wanted to. We can give it a little description. In titles, where it says elements, elements is a global term in Bitrix for whatever component that you're in. So we do recommend that you should change these. So we will type, instead of elements, we'll have business trips, business trip, add trip, modify trip. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to do. And then finally, if you wanted to restrict access to this list, you can do so by adding who can access what in here.
I have a question. So if you don't put anything in there, does nobody get access to this list, or does everybody get access to the list? I guess nobody gets access unless
you're an administrator.
Unless you're an admin, yeah. So you've got to create some level of access, otherwise nobody will see it.
Yeah, and you can see here we're logged in as an administrator, so we should have full access. What we should give the employees should have add access, and that will allow the employees to add a new business trip. So let's click save, and we'll click into it here. And then what we need to do first of all is set our form fields. So we go into our customized fields here, and we'll edit this name, and we'll call it location, shall we call it? Yeah.
Destination, yes, something like that.
And then we will add another field, and we'll call this date from, and we'll give that a date. So you do have a lot of different types of form field. We'll put date 2. And again, click save. And then maybe finally we'll have cost. So what we're going to do, in fact we'll add one more after this. I think there is a money field, isn't there? What we'll add here is a hidden field this time. So we'll have status.
Do you need to bind it to a user, or is it already going to be...
I'm just going to do it for the person who's submitting, I think.
Okay, you could also bind it to a company in the CRM if you want to refer, if you need to, if you want to tie it to a particular customer.
So I'll give it 3 statuses. And the important thing here is to show in new item form, we can actually deselect that. So when somebody's submitting a new request for a business trip, it will not appear in the form itself. You can actually turn it off, so it's not in the edit form.
I think this
and we can switch it to read only.
So the idea of that is that the status will be changed based on not the user submitting it, but some other approval or something, wouldn't it? So you don't want the user to be able to change that status themselves necessarily.
So we've got a range of types of fields there. So if you just jump back into the list, what we're going to do now is we'll just tidy up take the sections out here. I think they're the only columns that we want to see. And then finally, what we'll do is click on Configure Workflows, and we'll have a simple approval process here. So we'll call this Business Trip Approval when added, so when the form is submitted, that's what we're going to use. And then it's quite simple, we will use the approve element, click into here, and we'll have Max Smith as the person who's going to approve this business trip. I think, is that user? Yep. We'll call it, just name it approve trip. And that was it. Is approve business trip. Then we can put, we'll put the location. We will put the date from, date to, and cost. We should probably put submitted back. And you can see I've left these blank, so let me just in here click on the 3 dots, and we will put final location. We will put date from. So these are all the form fields that we can see. Date to, and the cost. Cost, and then submitted by is going to be the created by name. Then if you scroll down, we'll say accept, and we'll put decline. And then if what we can do, if you want to give a reason why it's declined, we could do so with show input here, and then we could actually make it required only when declined. So that's quite a useful one. In our case, just for this demo, we'll just put no comment in there. So once it gets approved or rejected, we go down the right branch or the left branch. And what we're going to do is we're going to update the status field if it gets to approved. So you can see status is going to equal approved. Just we'll label it approved, and then if it gets declined, again we'll update it to declined. And what we'll do, what we haven't done first of all, is we'll actually set it to pending. So we say status equals pending. So and then we'll finally, just one more item is we'll add a notification. So we'll say the recipient should be elements created by. we can send it from Max. Okay, so let's run this, click on save. What we're going to do now is go back to our list and we'll submit a new trip. So we'll say London. Obviously you can add as many fields as you like in here, but we'll say from the 6th through to the 10th. It's going to be £1,500. Click on save. So you can first of all see that adds a new list item. So the location is London, the dates, the cost, and you can see this, most importantly, is pending. So you didn't see the status field item when I added a new one. And now if I go to our workflows, what you should be able to see is we have please approve the business trip, London, the dates, the price, and who submitted it. So I can click on accept or decline. If I accept it, click on accept. You can then see it's gone down the left branch of the workflow. Your business trip has been approved. So if we finally go to the list, click into business trip, and you can now see the status has been approved. So it's quite a good replacement for spreadsheets. You can, because they do have the power of the workflows. And if you did want to export this, just click on Actions and you can export all the results of this to Excel too.
Okay, we've got a question here. Following on from this, is it possible to add, for the approver to add a cost code to the list? So I guess they mean by that we would have an additional field here, and in the approval section they would have to type in a code in a field. We can do that, can't we? Change the approver. We can change the approver. So look, configure workflow. Instead of using this approval, we can use approval with additional information.
It's not an approval though, is it?
Oh no.
I mean, that is the right thing, but it's.
Can we not have it? Can we not add it into this? Can we not add a field into this one?
No.
Oh.
What you would need to do.
Request further information. I thought there was one where you could request further information.
It's additional information.
Yeah.
But it's not an approval. It will stop the workflow until it gets to it.
Yeah.
But you can add your field here, and you could call it. And then you would add it, and then that's what the user would fill out. But they wouldn't be able to click on approve after that. You would need to go to the approval after. You could pass that information from that additional block into the approval block.
Yeah. So I mean that could be an approval in itself. You could still change the status using that. It just wouldn't. Yeah, you could still change the status. Still do the same thing here, couldn't you?
But you couldn't change the status based on
a yes or no.
Yeah.
But once they completed it, you could change the status. So you could assume if they're submitting a cost code into that field that it's approved, so you could just change the status. So in that case, you just have something like this, wouldn't you? And then we would actually take that out. So get to here. Once that's been actioned, it would then trigger the notification and changing the status. Okay. A question in by email: is it possible to set a price list by region or country? When creating a quote with a deal, I'd like to be able to set a certain percentage, more or less, than a base price for a product, depending on the region I choose. So, set a price list based on region. So it's not really going to be possible on the cloud. Bitrix includes a product catalog. So if we go into CRM products, you can set your products with a price, and here's the price. You can set your currency, you can add additional currencies, you can define a unit, whether you're selling in pieces or in kilograms or what the unit is, and you can put it into a section. That price you can't do anything with. It can't be dependent on the selection of another field on the cloud. I don't see how that would work in a quote, but it would be possible to do that with a little bit of customization. It wouldn't be too difficult on the self-hosted. You have some more options on there about creating custom components that will handle this sort of thing. We've done quite a lot of that type of pricing, haven't we, where it's more dynamic, and the pricing can be dependent on the client that you're doing a quote for, or it can be dependent on quantities as well. We've done it whereby if you put in a higher quantity, the price is reduced and things like that. So it's possible. We've done that sort of work. So if you got in touch with us, we could quote you to do that. That seems like quite a straightforward one. So, but unfortunately, not possible to set up as standard. But I'll just show you that when you go into your quotes, you can select your products here. So bones on the beach stores, whatever that is. So you can select your products, it brings in the price, which is the price. You can actually then select a discount, either as a percentage, or if I just click on that little link there, as an absolute value. So yeah, you can do that. It does bring the discounted amount in as a separate line down here, but it's not going to be dynamic like you want. And you see what you've done. You've got a drop down which has a region on it. Let's have a look. We haven't got a drop down field here. I don't think we've got a location field, but I guess it's not a drop down. But you have a it's my I put the one in. But you have a drop down field here, which have a list of different regions. Based on what you select there, you're going to want the price to adjust, or probably the discount to adjust, the discount rate to adjust. It'd be possible, but you need the self-hosted. If you want to move to the self-hosted, we can manage migration from the cloud. We do it with Bitrix. Bitrix provide a backup of your data. You tell us what day you want to move, and we have a cut-off point. Bitrix back up all your data. We restore it to your new self-hosted instance, and that self-hosted instance can be hosted by yourself on your own server, or you can rent web space, or we can host it for you on our data center. So it can be quite straightforward to migrate from the cloud to self-hosted. We'll handle it all for you. We can host the self-hosted instance for you on our data center, and you access it just the same as you access the cloud. This is a self-hosted instance. It's access. You actually get to sort of choose the domain that you're going to host it on. You can do some other things like brand up the login page and do quite a lot of extra stuff on the self-hosted. So if that's critical to you, move to the self-hosted, and we can do that for you.
So I've got a question come through. Where do telephony call recordings get saved? So if you've got if somebody calls in your CRM that exists in your CRM, so if we jumped into, I think we'll have it on here, Mark Moon. So the call recordings for one will appear. You can see here an inbound call has come in from this telephone number, and you can see the call recording is actually on the record itself. But you can actually see, if you go to the telephony tab on the left hand side, and if it's changed, so if you go to call details now, yeah, that's it. So if you click on call details, you'll be able to see recordings of all the calls here. So you can see that some of these obviously have not connected before, but you can listen to them here, or you can download the MP3 of them here just by clicking on the download button.
Yeah,
So that's where you would go.
some of those pages have changed, haven't they? I think the design's changed on them. Oh yeah, so this is the new layout. It's easy to find actually.
Yeah.
It's more difficult to call details here. Yeah. You do a filter as well. Do we mention you can do that? So I could filter by, individual person and then a date range, and you can start to see. Does it give you a total? Yeah, it does, doesn't it? So you could do a filter by that person.
All outbound calls, couldn't you?
Current day. Not really any other. Let's put this week, and then you could put. Yeah, can you do call type? So you can put outgoing calls this week for that user, and we can see they've made one call for the week. So that might be something that might concern somebody who was a salesperson.
When will Malaysia available to rent a number? It's a good question. I don't think we'll be able to answer that one. It would be Bitrix that would be able to probably provide that answer if it is coming, and if so, when it's coming.
Yeah.
For those of you that are wanting to connect a number, you will find it in rent a number here, and then you can simply just specify which country that you want to rent a number from. So you can see here that it does have a vast range of numbers. Then it gives you a type of number, so
We've got Malaysia.
Oh right, yeah, there you go. Oh no,
We're happy customer. Oh, okay.
Very soon.
Well, it's in the list, so it's there. I would have thought if it's not in this drop-down list, then there's probably a reason why, and it's probably not coming anytime soon. But yeah, I can see that it's on its way, so that's good. But yeah, I think as Andy was about to show you there, you can select, and in this case you can only select a local number. Depending where you go to, you've got different options. I don't know what's going to be available in Malaysia, but here. Numbers are no longer available for these, but become available very soon. We have a local or a toll-free number, but you can't. You can have a local number, so.
I think you'd have to specify the state, won't you?
Okay, so that's not correct. You can rent a number. So generally, you can rent the type of. You can select type of number, then the region, and it will give you the code number with the correct code. But here you've got toll-free, and then in some areas, I think you have. We've got mobiles and nationals. And national in the UK is like, we've got different options, 0330, 0345, or you should have quite a few, just 07 as a mobile. So you can actually rent a mobile number. Well, you want to do that, but you can.
How do I start a company with Bitrix? What do I make first? So, I mean, if you're starting a company, I think you should just focus on the CRM, the methods of getting your leads in, so your new enquiries into whatever your business is, and then storing those potential leads in your CRM as customers, companies and contacts, really.
Yeah, you should decide what fields you need really in the CRM. So this has been customised already, but out of the box you'll have a list of fields here. Just go in and change any of these, hide them, the ones you don't need. Especially in leads, I think you get a very long list of fields that are not necessary for all businesses. So hide the fields that you need. Go through all of these records. So let's just show you in the company first what you would do. Hide the fields. Select any fields that are hidden if they're already hidden, and then create any custom fields that you need. Do you need any custom fields that are date fields or additional text fields that you need to categorize? You can create also quite useful things like list fields. So a list field will give you a selection list, a drop down, so you can then categorize or tag that company or contact. So, and then once you've selected the fields, you can move these around a little bit like this to get your layout, and then go up to here, log in as an admin. You will be an admin if you're the person who's created it in the first case. Then so you can say up here you can save that view for all other users. Everyone's seeing the same thing. So do that in companies, do that in contacts, deals and quotes, and then indeed decide of these items across top which of those you want to see. You can configure these and choose to hide some of these as well if you don't need them. So create your page layouts, create your dashboards. If I go into start, then we have the option to create a dashboard. We've got something on here. You can choose your own reports and then choose the information in there. So just go through and do that, I guess. Add your users, invite your users in, of course, after you've done that, and decide whether you need to use work groups and tasks as well.
Yes, so just mentioned there, so it's basically CRM and then make the field. So yeah, that's definitely the starting point if you're just starting out. The CRM, and then create your fields, customize it for your needs, and then you're away. In a project or work group, where do I track issues and risks? So there's a couple of different methods, isn't there? I think you could do it in the lists method that we mentioned at the start. So in a work group, as we mentioned, so if we're in a project, a good way to do it would be pretty much the same method of what we went through right at the start of this Bitrix Live, is you could create a new list called risks and issues and create all the fields that you need for those risks and issues and then submit them, so you would have a long list of all the risks and issues on here. And then that will be a good tracking of that particular category of things. The alternate way is in tasks. So you could use the tasks module in the work group, create the task, and you could essentially, what you could do is you could create a custom field, maybe that you wanted, I don't know, we could call it one of these like this, and we could call it risk or issue. You can have two different options, and we can categorize the task that way. Or alternatively, you could tag them, so you could say risk here, and you could then tag all the tasks that are to do with risks and issues. And what that will allow you to do then is you could then filter for all the risk tasks here. So we could say risk, search, and then it would pull up a list of all the tasks that have been tagged with tag risk. If you did miss the start of the live session, we did show you how to create those lists and set them up with the workflows. So this will be put on YouTube, the YouTube channel, Bitrix24 YouTube channel after, so it may be worth just revisiting that if you wanted to.
So there's our contact details. In case you missed at the beginning, we're partners of Bitrix, we're Interface, and we don't sell any other products. We only sell Bitrix. We're experts at implementing anything unusual into Bitrix. Bitrix is a CRM and project management HR platform, but it's can be used as a platform for managing any aspects of your business, particularly if you have self-hosted, which is fully customizable and open code solution. So get in touch with us if you have any custom needs or need any training at all. On the cloud version, is it possible to manage discounts in a quote depending on the number of units purchased? So we covered that we mentioned that briefly, I think, near the beginning. It's not possible on the cloud, but we have made this for a few different people on the self-hosted version, whereby when you put in a quote, let's go into one of these quotes. When you put in your quantity in here, if you change this quantity, then it can dynamically change the unit price. Or certainly when you hit save, it will change the unit price, pull in a different unit price. So
it's not going to be possible on a cloud version, though, is it? At the moment.
No.
Because, like you say, we have done things with price breaks on different quantities for products, but unfortunately on a cloud, it's not currently available.
Okay, is it easy to integrate Bitrix into my current finance system? It depends. Depends whether you have the cloud or self-hosted. Both solutions have an applications center, and both have finance. Let's have a look. CRM, payment systems, landing, other. I'm too sure there's not a category for
Is that it?
finance.
Accounting.
Yeah. So let's see what's available. So there are a few. Some of these will be like report design. It's not integration, obviously just an add-on. But there's QuickBooks, FreshBooks, and Xero, popular accounts package. So this one works well. Not sure we tried these, but they're built by third parties generally, I think. So yeah, if you've got one of those, then you can do it. If you're not using one of those accounts packages, then you need a self-hosted version to do the integration with the API. But you can click in there, you can install it. It gives you some information on how to do that. Post your questions in.
How can I search for previous videos for topics covered? So I think on the Bitrix24 channel there is a, they're all named the same, aren't they? Bitrix Q&A, session, live stream. I think they're all named the same, so I think you should be able to find them. If you go to the interface channel as well, we have a whole range of detailed videos on there as well.
You probably find that we cover similar things, not every week, but we get the similar questions. So we do repeat some things. There's quite a lot of questions that come up again and again, but absolutely worth if you've got the time going back and looking at those. Absolutely, but they're always up. They're on there on our channel and on Bitrix. You subscribe, you'll get notifications as well when new ones go up. Is there any self-hosted installer for Zen? I guess Zen is a server or something, is it?
I've just had to Google that one. It's developed by Linux, so
Right.
I would. I'm not sure. I mean, if you go to the Bitrix24, I think if you go to Bitrix24 virtual appliance, if you click on here, and then you should come up with the self-hosted installation page. So this is what the on-premise version, the installers that Bitrix basically has on here. So you can see them on the right-hand side. There are a number of different ones. We have Bitrix Environment for Linux. It has its own edition for an Amazon instance, and each one of them has installation instructions and a free training guide. If you do need any assistance, we actually have our own Docker environment, and it's actually performed 30% more efficiently.
We've developed it for a web server, haven't we? And it is a little bit better in terms of performance, 30 to 50%, probably quicker actually. You'll find, and so you've got options, haven't you, about how you install it? We would recommend Linux, don't we? I think.
Yeah, certainly. I think, like I say, if you've got any questions if you don't find it on this page, then do give us a shout, and we should be able to provide you with some assistance.
Yeah. Okay. I cannot see automated workflows on my system. Is there a reason for this? That might be. Do they need enabling if it's inside work groups? So workflows exist in a number of different areas, really. So in fact, in some areas they don't. There's no standard workflows available. So for instance, inside the CRM, if we just go into, let's go onto this site and go into the CRM, go into.
I think the first thing you need to check is what version of Bitrix that you're on. Because if you are on a free version, then you won't get any automation.
Right. Okay.
At all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're on a free version, then you also need to consider where you're looking, because inside a company, up the top right hand corner, we've got a lot of business processor available here, but this list will be blank because they're not shipped with any standard processes that are associated with companies. You have to create them.
Yeah, that icon won't actually be
it
there.
It won't be there, right?
Okay.
Okay. So you won't see that. So if you've seen this list on our webinars, then these won't be available on your site. Same thing on any of these, on deals and contacts. You won't have business processes standard. You need to go into your settings and automation and business processes, and then within here you can see the existing templates and add an additional business process template to any of those. Second area is in the activity stream. So you should have, unless you're on the free cloud site, you should have workflows available under more. So you should see, not all of these because these are some we've built, but you should see request leave form, I think, or leave approval, purchase request and expenses. Well, I think these three are standard. So you should see those if you're on a commercial package. And then if you go into a work group, then business processes are available. Where's our business processes in the work group? So yeah, project groups is different. So we've got automation rules now, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
We've got automation rules on tasks, which you should be able to see if you're on a commercial package. I was thinking about documents actually. If you go into the drive, then you will see inside here business processes, but this link won't appear until you go into first configure business processes and tick this box. Go into there, tick that box, save, refresh, it will refresh, and then your business processes will appear. So there are some standard business processes for documents available. So do that and those will become available, or you can create your own based on documents. If I go into a business process, I can create a new one here or edit existing ones to work the way you want them to work. So post your questions in the chat window if you have them.
We did have a question come through about live chat and how we can get it on your website. So Bitrix comes with a range of tools, but the live chat is pretty straightforward really. If you go into the contact center, it's not actually the contact center, is it? So you actually need to go to the contact center, make sure live chat is set up and enabled, and this is where you do all the configuration settings of who's going to answer your live chats. And then you actually need to go to the CRM and then go to your website widget. So your website widget is essentially the thing that you're going to put on to your website. And you can see here, we have one here. We'll click on create new widget. Maybe we just want this one just to be called live chat, because that's all you want on here. So the website widget allows you three different methods of generating leads essentially. You've got the open channel, so that's when it's going to be our live chat. So you can see here. Then we have the possibility to add a form, so one of our CRM forms. In our case, we'll disable this. And then we have the ability to add a callback form. So when you're creating a CRM form, there's a checkbox at the bottom that says make this a callback form. If you check that box, it will mean that the form will be available in this section here. So if we disable that one as well, on our live chat, we can configure a message, add our own picture, and show immediately. And then if we scroll up to the top, we can specify where we want it and what colour we want the widget to be. So once we click on save, at that point then, you will get the embed code. So you can see here, this widget just has live chat activated. Click on embed code, copy that embed code there, copy to clipboard, and then paste it into the footer of your website. If you've got using a WordPress site, add it to the footer template just above the body tag. the closed body tag, and then you're away.
Can I set up a place on my website where customers can purchase things? Place on your web where you can do that? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can do that now with online stores. I get the impression that you don't want a fully blown sort of e-commerce site. You can do this using you can create these using a standard template that's available. You know, I can choose one of the standard templates, and then we can configure. Just go into that quickly. Configure the page itself using this designer tool. But if you just want it's not a public-facing site like this, a fully blown e-commerce site that you want, then I guess you could do this with a form as well. So let's go into it. Let's go into a different site. Let's go into the CRM and CRM forms. So you just want let's go into CRM. Go to CRM forms. We have some forms set up here. Let's edit this one here. Add a product to it if possible. We add a product list. Do we have to configure the product list? Add from catalog. Add a row. So we can select our products. Let's go into that. Select a product. No products in there. Okay, so we've got our products. We can change the price by the looks of it there. It's not a required field. It's not a mandatory field. But now we've got 2 products in there. If I save that. And click on the link to go take us to it. Text at the top for some reason. We can select a product here now. Actually adds it to a little basket for us over there, and we can send that. So it's really you're not checking out, you're not paying by card, but you can submit that form with that order for those products.
Okay, we've got a question come through saying how much permission rights can be set for project management. I saw the permission page only for the CRM module. So if we go into a work group and then go into a project group here, if you're the owner of the project, so Matt Smith, if you click into actions here, then you can see access permissions. Now you can only set access permissions on some of the modules, because things such as the calendar and the documents are actually managed internally within those 2 modules. So I'll come to those 2 in a moment. But this is really useful. You can set permissions on who can add tasks, who can view tasks that they're not involved in. Because generally, by default, I think that all tasks can be seen in a work group, even if you're not the owner, the responsible, the participant, or the observer. So if you don't want that to happen, it may be that you just set group owner and moderators, or just the owner. And again, we're posting messages on the activity stream, adding things to the wikis, viewing pages. So this is where you would come for this. And then, like I mentioned, the drive and the calendar have their own permission modules. So if we click on the gear icon here, and then click on assign permissions, you can set a default permission basis for all the drive in. So you can see here, group moderators have edit rights, group members have edit rights. But what we could actually do is, if we click on save on there, you notice, when I was in there, it's got enable extended permission control for individual files and folders. If that is checked, then if we go to the folder itself, each folder then has access permissions. So you can click into here, get rid of, maybe you don't want the group members to see that, only the group owner and moderators. So you can set the permissions based on that. And you can go down that into as deep as you want on a folder by folder basis. And then the other area where you can set calendar permissions, if we go into calendars, and then I'm in, so let's just say for example this one, click on edit. Each calendar has its own access permissions here too. So you click on access permissions and then you can specify who can see what. So the documents, the calendar are managed internally. The whole work group as a whole is managed under access permissions and under actions tab.
Okay. You can also do on the self-hosted additional permissions, can't we, in the control panel, if you wanted to do that. Like show different menu items and things to different users. Okay.
So we've got a few minutes left. I think if you just put any questions, I think you've got one more of you.
No, we covered that. Oh right, our business makes a lot of calls each day. Does Bitrix have a dialer? Yes, it does. So, yeah, depending on a couple of ways. I guess what you're getting at is a sort of automatic dialer, but you can of course just go into. Let's go to this. Let's go to this side. Let's go into one of our contacts. Then I can, of course, click call this person from the system, and it will record the call in there. But in terms of a sort of call center functionality, you can go into your contacts list. Maybe I'll do a filter by the ones that I'm responsible for. You can see here, I'm not responsible for this one. So let's check in John Smith and search. Of course, you could filter by different tags based on following up contacts from an exhibition or marketing campaign. Once I've done my filter, this is a multi-field filter as well, so I can choose other fields, any fields that exist within the contact, I can choose as a filter. And then once I've got my filtered list of contacts, I can select them all, and then we can start to dial. And when I start, I'm just going to dial the first one, and we'll go through one by one, one after another until they're all complete. You can do the same thing actually on leads. If you want to use the lead stage and call them all and qualify them, then you can do the same thing inside of leads as well.
Yeah, I think the good thing is, isn't it, that filter? So you can filter out maybe all your leads that have come through a specific source, and then you can do the dialer on those.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to, just to talk about the telephony, if you wanted to go into the CRM marketing side, you create your segment that you want to maybe do an automated dial out to. You could use the voice broadcasting and send an automated message out as well.
I think in there you can build up your voice. Yeah, you build up your message. You can text to speak, as it says here. So type your message in. It will convert that to an audio message and then play that to the recipient. You can do quite a few different languages as well. So we've got.
And you can record your own, can't you, as well? So you can record your own voice, your own message, so you don't have to use this one.
Yeah, we do. Yes. Okay. So we've got a few minutes if you've got any more questions. Doesn't look like we have any more questions on the chat as it stands. No more questions on email. Don't think.
So if you do have any questions that do come up throughout the week, we are here every Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So please do send us your questions to live@intraface.com. We do get a few throughout the week. We usually start the session off answering those as people filter in and ask the questions. So it's good that each session as well is recorded, so everything's put onto the Bitrix24 YouTube channel, so you can always watch back if you've missed the start from it, for example. So we covered a lot about lists at the start of this session, So if you missed that, please do jump on to.
And on YouTube, there's no static link for this session, so you need to subscribe to Interface and Bitrix24 on YouTube to receive notifications. But as Andy says, it's the same time. It's 10 a.m. Eastern Time every Thursday for about an hour. So I don't think we've got any more questions, so we'll leave it there, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
Yep, see you next time.